Welcome to the east side of the bay on a beautiful football afternoon. 64 degrees, just a light breeze out of the southeast at 5 miles an hour. The Raiders will kick it off. They're 2-3. Chris Barr to deliver to the other end. Chuck Muncie, the newly acquired San Diego Charger, 46, waiting at the goal line. It's high, fairly short. Muncie at the 5, 10, and down on the slip at the 15-yard line goes Chuck Muncie. First down for San Diego. It is a very wet, soggy turf. The lineups: San Diego Chargers, Dan Fouts the quarterback, John Capoletti and Clarence Williams are the running backs behind Fouts. Great receivers: Joyner, Kellen Winslow has caught more passes than any tight end in the league, and John Jefferson, who leads the AFC in yardage. The blockers for Fouts: Shields, Wilkerson, Masick, White, and Washington. From the 15, Clarence Williams down at the 17. Matt Millen, 55, the rookie middle linebacker, and Randy McClanahan teamed up on the tackle. Defensively for the Oakland Raiders, John Matuzak, Dave Perrin, Dave Browning in that 3-4 defensive alignment. The Mad Stork, Ted Hendricks, Matt Millen, they like him, a big young linebacker, McClanahan and Barnes. At the corners, Monty Jackson has a bad knee and Lester Hayes. And at safety, Davis and Owens. McCrary, the tight end, in motion. Fouts throws it away. We welcome those fans who have been watching the New England-Miami game. Another big victory for the Patriots, who are playing great football. We're just underway here in Oakland, California. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. The Chargers took the opening kickoff. They have run on the first down for 2, and an incomplete pass by Dan Fouts makes it 3rd down and 8 at the Chargers 17-yard line.
We'll see a lot of flip-flopping of defenses today, Dick. The Oakland Raiders will normally go in a 3-4, but anytime they get in a pass-rushing situation, we'll probably see 4 down linemen. That's what they have now.
The Raiders were offside. Fouts goes deep for Joyner, and he's way over his head. Otis McKinney, a 5th defensive back on the coverage. But it appeared that number 90, Jones, had jumped offside.
One of the things we're going to be conscious of today is the effect of this wet turf, and it is very damp, as you said, Dick. That's the equalizer. I think Al Davis kept the water on the turf all night, and Mother Nature helped with a little rain, too.
We did have a nice rain last evening here in the Bay Area. Jones is offside, so instead of the Chargers forced to punt, it'll be 3rd down and 3. Ben Bright, the referee. Ron Smith has joined Joyner and Jefferson, 3 wide receivers for Dan Fouts on 3rd and 3. We understand Don Carriel will use Chuck Muncie liberally today. He's ready, knows the offense. 3rd and 3. Incomplete and almost intercepted. Number 42, Monty Jackson, breaking up the play, intended for John Jefferson.
Ball thrown slightly behind Jefferson. Jackson able to recover. Certainly, had that ball been thrown on the other shoulder, it would have been a completion. Jefferson leaning back for it. Monty Jackson able to get there and break it up. We've got our first punting situation of the day.
Rick Partridge, who is 2nd in the AFC to the Raiders kicker, Ray Guy, will deliver to Ira Matthews back at the 37. Matthews is going to return it from the 43. Breaks a couple of tackles and dragged down near the 40-yard line. Nice coverage by the Chargers, and Kellen Winslow, who works on that special teams, with a jersey tackle. And here comes Jim Plunkett in. His first start in the NFL since the last game of '77. He was with the 49ers then. Kenny King, who's been brilliant, acquired from the Houston Oilers, and Mark Van Egan, the steady plow horse behind him. Cliff Branch with the speed. Bob Chandler, the finesse outside receiver, with Dave Casper, the tight end. Art Shell and Gene Upshaw, that huge left side of the line. Dave Dalby at center. Mickey Marvin and Henry Lawrence, the youth, on the right side. First down as the Raiders in good field position at their own 40-yard line. Plunkett has Chandler wide right. He's going to throw on first down. And as a man open, Casper, 45-50. First down at the 47 of San Diego. 13 yards.
One of the things we're going to see more of from Jim Plunkett than we saw from Pastorini is the underneath passing game, the short passing game. Little play action pass here. Plunkett wanting to utilize the receiving talents of Dave Casper, able to get him free. Again, talking about the shorter passing game than Pastorini, noted more as a deep passer rather than the finesse passer in the short zones.
Kellen Winslow with 23 catches is tied for the AFC lead in receptions. That was Casper's 20th. First down. Van Egan to the 45-yard line. Couple of yards. Kelcher, number 74, first man in on the hit. Defensively for the Chargers, Leroy Jones, giant 6'8" end. Louis Kelcher, the muscular big tackle. Gary Johnson's been brilliant. Fred Dean, the speed, the AFC lineman of the year last year. Linebackers Preston, Horn, and Lowe. They're ball hawks. And in the defensive secondary for San Diego, Mike Williams and Willie Buchanan at the corners. Glenn Edwards and Pete Shaw at safety. Edwards with 4 interceptions, 1 a touchdown. Plunkett's going to scramble. 40, gets a block, 35, and out of bounds at the 31, and Cliff Branch threw a great downfield block.
A 14-yard pickup by Jim Plunkett. Plunkett got himself in some trouble last week running out of the pocket, but you can't fault him here. Cannot find the open receiver, but sees the room to his left side. Let's see if we don't catch the block right there. 21, Branch, a beautiful block. He gets out of bounds. That's an all-pro play from Jim Plunkett.
And by Cliff Branch at 5'11" and 170 to dump the defensive back. First down. Outside the 31, no score, just underway. 2.5 minutes played. Kenny King with blockers. 30, 25, 15, touchdown! Oh, did that set up well? He had 2 blockers and only 2 defenders.
Kenny King's outstanding speed gives this Oakland offense the kind of outside dimension that they'd like to have. Kenny out there behind 65, Mickey Marvin, gets good blocking inside, and right there, a fine block by Marvin, cuts across and picks it up. Now look at the backside. Gene Upshaw and Art Shell. Shell trying to get downfield. Upshaw doing a job of sealing off on number 79, Desjardins, and you saw King doing a good job of getting around.
Chris Barr tacks on the extra point. Just missed that one, and it's 7-0. And we just missed getting 2 Barr's kick, but he didn't miss it right down the middle. As Kenny King, who is 4th in the American Conference in rushing, 276 yards, has scored his first touchdown as a Raider, and it was a beauty.
Tom Flores obviously pleased about that, and you've got to understand that these Oakland Raiders realize the significance of this game, Dick. You don't think of a game this early in the season as being a make-or-break kind of a game, but if the Oakland Raiders lose today, they can pretty well forget a chance to stay in this race with the San Diego Chargers.
Well, a loss would make them 2-4, and Al Davis knows his team has a Monday night date in Pittsburgh next week, and that's no average assignment.
Looking at Al Davis, I'm sure that there's been a lot of frustration in his life recently. These Oakland fans infuriated at his attempt to move this team to Los Angeles, and I'm sure that much of the problem this last week, the cheering when Dan Pastorini went down, had to do with Davis and really was aimed at Davis rather than Pastorini.
Muncy at the 5-yard line. 15. And down at the 20, and the coverage again of the Raiders is outstanding. Mario Solano, just activated by the Raiders from the University of Southern California, made the tackle.
Dick, one of the questions that I had asked earlier in the week, what would be the impact of that very nasty situation last year in the Oakland, or last week in the Oakland Coliseum? Would it bring these players closer together? They really are charged up emotionally on the field. They've gotten off to a great start in this game.
San Diego trailing 7-0. 3 minutes have been played. Winslow in motion. Bouts over the middle. Jefferson open. And he's down at the 30-yard line. Ripped up a piece of sod with that tackle. Close to a first down. Ted Hendricks with a stop, number 83.
And if you're wondering why John Jefferson had room to catch that football, watch the grace and the ability of that young man. A little pattern there turns Hendricks to the outside. There's a mismatch if ever there was one. Hendricks trying to get in and actually getting good position, but hard to be on top of a fast receiver like Jefferson.
The initial first down for the Chargers. This is Chuck Muncy. And it's takes a couple of Raiders to drag him down at the 32-yard line. 57, Randy McClanahan. So McClanahan will see a lot of duty today. 57, he's replacing the injured Bob Nelson, who is out with a broken shoulder blade. There's Kenny King, the touchdown maker. It is 2nd down and 8, San Diego. We welcome you fans who have watched that classic between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. They've had a couple of beauties this year. Here in San Diego, Oakland has scored quickly and leads 7-0. This is 2nd and 8. Fouts throws deep, intercepted. Monty Jackson at the 43-yard line. The Raiders have the lead and they have the turnover.
Dan Fouts got in trouble in that earlier Oakland game, threw 5 interceptions in that ball game, and it started out badly here. A couple that could have been intercepted early, and this one just clearly overthrown. Monty Jackson does a good job of going up, tearing that football out of the sky. Oakland has good field position, an opportunity to get a big jump on the San Diego Chargers.
Jackson's first interception of the year, his 22nd career. 7-0 Raiders, 10:56 left in the first quarter. And there's Van Egan ripping forward to the 37-yard line. Merlin Olsen, this is something we saw in the first game down in San Diego. The Raiders were able, especially in the first half, to establish a solid running attack against San Diego.
Well, they certainly were. And Dan Pastorini, looking at him there, was the man who was calling the signals in that game. He's, of course, been hurt since, as we said last week. But it looks like they're going to have that same kind of an edge today, at least here in the early going. Big run by King to score, and now Van Egan breaking it to the inside. That's a tough running combination.
Kenny King scored on a 31-yard run around right end, literally untouched. 2nd and 4, King runs into traffic and down he goes. Fred Dean had a piece of him at the 35-yard line with Woody Lowe, 51, assisting. For those of you who are not with the first game of the doubleheader on NBC, a big upset in Pittsburgh, one of those rare defeats for the Steelers at home as the Bengals beat Pittsburgh 17-16. So Cincinnati has won twice this year, both wins against Pittsburgh. How do you figure? First down, check that, 3rd down and 2 for Jim Plunkett. Arthur Whittington, 22 in the backfield for the first time, joins Van Egan. And Plunkett rolling. Runner pass, and he's trapped for a loss. Back of the throw. Uh-oh, that wasn't necessary. Gary Johnson throws Plunkett down, and look at the Raiders. They're furious that no flag goes with it. And I think one should have been thrown. That was not necessary.
After the play, but the officials were busy getting a mark on the ball. Plunkett won't let that bother him. He's been banged around more times in his life. The first few years of his career, he didn't know what an offensive line was back in New England. That particular play illustrates, though, Plunkett's nervousness. He's not terribly comfortable yet in that pocket, and as he rolled out, had some time, but got nervous feet, wanted to run it, and it cost him.
So the turnover on the interception by Bonnie Jackson does not materialize into any further scoring for the Raiders, and Raymond Guy tops in the AFC, 44 yards plus. Will try to drop it inside the 10. Look at the Chargers. They're bringing 11 men up on the line of scrimmage. They're going after Guy. No one is back. Here they come, and he gets it away. And a good kick aimed toward the corner. And they'll mark it actually didn't get inside the 10 and apparently faded out at about the 18-yard line. They mark it. But Guy was quick on the leg trigger as the white shirts were on him. 20-yard punt. San Diego again begins deep in its own end. 3 possessions, and their best start has been at the 20. We welcome those. Coming up, we will be saying hello to those folks who saw another outstanding game up in Buffalo, where Baltimore upset Buffalo 17-12. Cappelletti and Williams behind Fouts. We welcome those fans who have been watching the Baltimore-Buffalo game here in Oakland. San Diego with the ball, and down goes Cappelletti short of the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 11 as Oakland, on its first possession, went 60 yards in 4 plays, and Kenny King scored on a 31-yard run to make it 7-0. Subsequently, an interception by Monty Jackson, but it did not materialize into further scoring for the Raiders. And after the punt by Raymond Guy, San Diego has it at the 19, 2nd and 11. Cincinnati has upset Pittsburgh, and Baltimore has beaten Buffalo. 2 upsets earlier on NBC. The throw to Jefferson, and what a catch by Jefferson, even though he was interfered at the 41-yard line. There are flags both at the reception and at the spot of the throw. We could have nullifying penalties, but what a play by Jefferson.
Great play. I'm sure there was an interference call and a holding call. We'll run the play over, but you saw the great acrobatic ability of Jefferson and the tremendous body control. Bumped out of position, actually threw himself all the way around the defender. We'll give you a chance to see it at home. Fouts taking all the time. Good protection on this play. Good long arm fake. And then fires the outside. He wanted Jefferson all the way. Watch Jefferson actually all the way around Otis McKinney, number 23, to make a catch that just, I tell you, it talks about greatness. He's one of the most amazing athletes we see on the football field in the NFL.
Nullifying penalties, offensive holding San Diego, interference called against the Oakland Raiders. And of course, those of you who saw that classic first game between these two teams that went into overtime before San Diego won at home 30-24, saw Jefferson make 2 circus catches for touchdowns. Fouts going long, and wide open is Ron Smith. Overthrown at the 35-yard line of the Raiders, and he was well in front of the pack. Dwayne Osteen, 35, the closest black shirt.
Actually, 2 defenders, Burgess Owen already there too, to try and catch up with him, but Smith has excellent speed. They're pleased at his addition to this receiving corps, and when they put the 3 wide receiver offense to work for the San Diego Chargers, they can put a lot of speed on the field.
Ron Smith, who played his college ball in San Diego at San Diego State and acquired from the Los Angeles Rams. He's wide to the right with Jefferson to the left and Joyner in the slot. And Kellen Winslow also flank left and a triple left. Flags are down. To this side, Smith. He catches it as he goes out of bounds at the 34. That would be a first down, but I believe we have an illegal procedure against San Diego. Although Matuzak may have been offside for Oakland. Let's check it.
Matuzak is definitely offside. It's just a matter of if he's moved or someone else. Looks like the 2 defenders moved. Give the officials a chance to call it, but that was a pretty catch by Ron Smith. Nailing that one down on the sideline. Didn't have much room.
Number 72, decline a penalty. That's a first down.
Of course, they'll decline it. They picked up about 10 yards with the play. Moves the ball out to the 33.5 yard line. But Ron Smith did not have much room when that ball arrived on the sideline. Did an excellent job of knowing where he was, getting both feet down inbounds.
Actually close to 15 yards on the play. First down near the 34-yard line. Joyner left. Jefferson right. That's Clarence Williams in motion. Capoletti, another former Ram, plows out to the 38-yard line. Ted Hendricks and John Matuzak with a tackle for the Oakland Raiders. Just for those of you who have joined us late, to reset the action today, San Diego with its first loss of the season last year, upset at home by Buffalo 4-1. The Raiders are 2-3. They were down 31-0 in the first half last week. Eventually lost to Kansas City 31-17 in a game in which Dan Pastorini fractured a leg. Jim Plunkett has replaced him at quarterback. Coryell's team guilty of 3 fumbles, an interception, a couple of bad punt plays. Open is Joyner. 45 and down to the 41-yard line. First down, San Diego, and the Chargers aerial game is on the move. Jeff Barnes, 56, made the tackle for Oakland, a 22-yard gain.
Well, they call it Coryell's Air Force, and they will fill the air with footballs. And normally Pastorini, or not Pastorini, but Fouts loves to go to Joyner in a controlled situation. Joyner able to find the open spaces in the defense. One of the most intelligent receivers in football.
Williams out on the flank. He slips on that wet sod and just does set himself. And here comes Joyner in motion. Give it to Capoletti. Hit by Hendricks, and down he goes at the 39-yard line. Ted Hendricks, and as the umpire helping him out was John Matuzak and Dave Browning. Running down all the scores for you, the finals. The Baltimore Colts right back into the thick of that AFC East with a win at Buffalo. The Bills' first loss. No unbeaten teams left in the NFL. New England demolishes Miami 34-0. They're in a tie for first. Cincinnati, 2 wins this year, both against Pittsburgh, as the Steelers lose at Three Rivers. That is an upset. Philadelphia rallied from a 16-3 deficit to beat the Giants 31-16. Fouts for Jefferson, might be intercepted. Oh, Jefferson with another incredible catch. Oh my.
A chance for you to watch this from ground level. You see the action as Fouts goes back, fights it all the way. He's getting tremendous pressure, stays in, and fires that ball long. It's slightly inside. Jefferson actually has to fight through Lester Hayes, number 37, to make that catch. Now watch the body control at the end of this pattern. The ball, as we said, inside. Lester Hayes has position. Jefferson shields him with his body and makes another incredible catch.
That's why he leads all wide receivers in the NFL, both in catches and in yardage. First and goal at the 5. Cappelletti, touchdown! It didn't appear that that's where the hole was designed, but Cappelletti found daylight, and we're about to see a possible tie game.
Dick, Cappelletti just used his eyes. A good running back knows where the hole is. Stepped up in there. Watch it yourself. He wants the shot off right tackle. There is no hole there. Cappelletti cuts against the grain, finds some room, and actually walks untouched into that end zone.
A very impressive 82-yard drive in 8 plays. And now Rolf Benerschke will try to tie it up for the Chargers. Mike Fuller to hold, number 42. Right at you. And down the middle. And a flag is down, thrown in the middle of the line, and let's check the penalty.
It might be one of those leverage calls, someone using the back of a fellow player to try and get up in the air. That's something that's been added to the calling responsibility of the NFL officials in this last year.
Here's Ben Dreit.
Defensive holding number 55. The point is good. We penalized 5 yards on the kickoff.
So the extra point is good. Matt Millen, the young linebacker for the Oakland Raiders, guilty of the hold, and San Diego will be able to kick off from its own 40-yard line. Cappelletti, the former Heisman winner, has tied it up. And with 5:26 remaining in the first quarter here in Oakland, the Chargers and the Raiders are even at 7. We got deep here. Matthews, Whittington. Arthur Whittington, number 22, and Ira Matthews, 43, deep for the Oakland Raiders. 82-yard drive by the Chargers in 8 plays. Great catch by Jefferson, sets up the 5-yard touchdown run by Cappelletti. Benerschke, he'll kick it off and run off the field. Still not completely recovered from the operations for Crohn's disease. Whittington, 15. Down he goes at the 19, and a flag is down with it. They watered the field heavily during the week here in Oakland, and then we had a substantial amount of rain last night, the first rain of the season in the Bay Area, so the footing obviously is slick.
We talked about the game earlier in the season, the overtime game of these Chargers and the Oakland Raiders. Jim Plunkett came in for one play when Pastorini was injured. Here's that play. You talk about pressure. Just seconds left to go in the game. Plunkett arches a perfect pass to Raymond Chester to put that game into overtime. He's had a chance to throw a few more since then, but you may never throw a more crucial pass than that one. It came in, as we said, with the injury to Pastorini, just seconds to go in the game, and threw one pass for a completion. Pastorini came back in after the overtime break, and actually the Raiders lost that game. But what a pressure-filled situation for Plunkett.
That was his first pass of the year. Now he's making his first start in 3 years. Hands it off inside, and there's no room at all in there as Mark Van Egan gets maybe to the 10-yard line. Well, let's go on with that game, since it was the outstanding game we've seen this year. And we'll show you what happened in the overtime. That pass that you just saw, Plunkett to Chester, tied the game at 24. What was interesting, at the end of the first half, the Raiders, with just seconds left, hit on a long bomb to Cliff Branch to equal the count at halftime. Then in overtime, San Diego won it on another remarkable catch by Jefferson, and we'll show you that when we have a moment. Plunkett on 2nd down and 10. It's King. That's a similar play on which he scored the touchdown, running 31 yards, but the Chargers had that well covered at the 13. It'll be 3rd down and 7. So this again, a month ago in San Diego, the game was tied at 24. Chargers ball midway through the overtime. Fouts on 3rd down, didn't want to go for the field goal. He goes to his man, John Jefferson. Look at this catch, twisting in midair away from Lester Hayes. Hayes didn't touch him. Jefferson rolled into the end zone, and the Chargers had a most exciting and dramatic victory.
Lester Hayes still cannot believe that Fouts threw to a man that was covered that tightly. But Fouts has such confidence in his arm and his receivers, he'll throw the ball anytime, anywhere.
Well, you saw the play earlier just today that Jefferson made around that same Lester Hayes, who was an all-pro candidate. Plunkett goes long for Chandler, and it's way too long out at the 40-yard line of the San Diego Chargers. Bob Chandler, you folks up in Buffalo remember well, acquired from the Bills during this past year, with a linebacker Filipino going up to Buffalo country. Former Rose Bowl star Chandler at the University of Southern California, now playing for Tom Flores.
Tom Flores obviously happy to have him, and Chandler happy to be here. Feels that playing on the natural turf and playing in the warm weather will add some life to a rather small body for all the beating he's taken over the years.
Great guy. You saw 1-for-1 passing, so he shares a lead as the best passer in the league percentage-wise, and he is the top kicker in the AFC with 44 yards. Oh, just got it away, and what a kick it is. Mike Fuller all the way back to his 28-yard line. Gets a block, 35-40, and he ducks out of bounds at the 44, making the 43-yard line. 59-yard kick by Guy and about a 15-yard return. And we have a timeout here in the Oakland Alameda Coliseum with 3:41 remaining in the first quarter.
In New York at the Kingdome in Seattle, the Cleveland Browns are on the board. Ron Pruitt taking it in from 2 yards out. Point after is good, and Cleveland leads the host Seahawks 7-0. Back to Oakland and Dick Enberg.
All right, Bryant, here in Oakland, it's a 7-all tie, the Chargers and the Raiders, and many looking for a repeat of that exciting battle down in San Diego that went overtime. Fouts with the ball at his own 43-yard line. Joyner left, Jefferson right, Capoletti and Clarence Williams behind him. It's to Joyner. And he's hit by the last man at the 38-yard line. Monty Jackson and Burgess Owens made the tackle, or it's a touchdown. Let's go back to Raymond Guy. Now we're going to see this play again.
For a chance to look at Fouts from ground level as a defensive back would be looking at him. Beautiful strike right there. Joyner, as we said, an expert, a very wide receiver, able to find the gaps in that defense, and Fouts delivering the ball quickly and on target. Most of his patterns are timing patterns. Thrown to a spot on the field, the receiver goes after the football there.
First down at the 38. Clarence Williams. Nothing there except black and silver. Hendricks, Randy McClanahan, Matt Millen all in on the tackle.
Ted Hendricks, a very physical linebacker, actually just shutting the door on the outside. John Matuzak, number 72, holding his position. McClanahan, number 57, who's in that lineup in place of Bob Nelson, doing a good job coming from the inside, forcing that door shut from the inside. There's nowhere for a back to run. They forced it from the outside and the inside and held their ground on the line of scrimmage.
Plus, Merlin, it appeared that Williams, conscious of that turf, was not really running full speed. He ran gingerly. Second down and 9. Fouts down the middle, wide open again is Joyner, and he's to the 21-yard line and a first down. McClanahan, 57, made the tackle, but the Chargers in this tie game are on the move again. That was a 16-yard play.
One of the weaknesses of the 3-4 defense is the inability to get a pass rush, and that's especially crucial against a team like Coryell's Chargers. They throw the football so often on first down that you really are at a disadvantage unless you get a pass rush. We may see the Raiders go to a one-man or a two-man blitz to try and get pressure on Fouts.
Joyner with a couple of catches on this drive, and the Chargers are deep at the Oakland 21. Up the middle, Capoletti, and he's down at the 21-yard line. That was the same play in which he scored the touchdown. He tried the same move, slipping to the outside, but ran into McClanahan.
Well, we talked about the disadvantage of the 3-4. One of the advantages of the 3-4 defense is the ability of the linebackers to move quickly to the point of attack. They did it there. They sealed it off. Capoletti did cut back, but they did not have any sealing on the backside. In other words, there was no room there. Linebackers coming all the way across were able to make the play on it.
And now Oakland puts in Cedric Hardman, number 86, an excellent pass rusher, and number 90, Willie Jones, try to put pressure on Fouts. That's Hardman, fumble, and Hardman's got it. The veteran Cedric Hardman in his 11th year out of North Texas State, the former 49er. He forced the fumble and then recovered it.
The Chargers trying to protect themselves from a 4-man rush. Cedric Hardman coming in and in. Fouts going back, and as always, taking a lot of time, taking as much time as he could. Did not get underneath that first. Willie Jones, actually, number 90, Dick. Hardman there to stop him, but Jones, the man that knocked the ball free. They've got the football. They're heading the other direction. We've talked about the discipline of Charlie Joyner. Watch him, number 18, working on Lester Hayes. The little move right there to turn Lester Hayes, but the ball was not thrown because there wasn't enough time to throw it. Had Fouts had time, he might well have had a touchdown.
But it was Willie Jones and Cedric Hardman who just had come into the game to apply some pass pressure on Fouts, who did just that. Hardman got to him first. Jones, as you saw, punched the ball free, and Hardman recovered at the 36-yard line. And the Raiders have stopped San Diego. The game tied at 7. Less than a minute remaining in the first quarter. Lindsey Mason, 71, has replaced Henry Lawrence at right tackle for the Raiders. Plunkett to throw. Swings it in the flat to Van Egan. 35, and he's out to the 37. And again, the runners are very hesitant to make that sharp cut back inside because the footing is not all that solid. You see Matt Millen, the rookie linebacker, going to school there on the sidelines with his defensive coach.
Trying to figure out how to stop some of the cutback running right there.
The Raiders, who were second in the AFC last year, 60% completions, only 47.8, lowest in the AFC. Lowest in the NFL is the New York Giants. Derek Jensen, 31, now in the backfield. It's Kenny King. And he stopped with a good solid play at the 38-yard line. Ray Preston, 52, in on that tackle, along with 55 Bob Horn.
One of the crucial ingredients of good defensive football is pursuit. Watch number 55, Bob Horn. Quickly reads the play. Actually was jumping way out ahead of it. Now he's trying to stay even with the runner. Does not want to get ahead of the runner. Does a good job of avoiding the blocks, and what a crunching tackle. All kinds of help, but that's a beautiful play defensively.
Our most interesting first quarter comes to an end in Oakland. The Chargers Raiders tied at 7. Second quarter in Oakland, California. The Chargers and Raiders tied at 7. There are the first quarter statistics that do not show 2 San Diego turnovers. So San Diego with the yardage, but in a tie game, an interception and a fumble. First play, Oakland ball at their own 39-yard line. 3rd and 7 for Plunkett. He's only thrown 3 times, 2 completions. Throws it for Casper. Open, and a first down at the 25.
Dave Casper has the speed to get deep, and Plunkett takes advantage of it here. Plunkett is getting some pressure, and he finally gets this ball off. That's 68. Leroy Jones coming around 79. Gary Johnson, but the ball hangs and hangs. Casper runs underneath it, takes a shot there. They knock him to the ground, but that's a big gainer, puts him in scoring position.
Be mindful of that game in Baltimore. Ghost to the post in the playoffs when Oakland beat the Colts a few years ago. First down at the 26. A draw, and Van Egan to the 25, a gain of a couple. Kelcher and Johnson, the 2 San Diego tackles, pinched him down. Let's recap some of the scoring for you on another interesting week of football in the National Football League. Well, we'll give you the finals that we gave you before. Baltimore beat Buffalo 17-12. New England shut out Miami 34-0. Cincinnati 17, Pittsburgh 16. Philadelphia rallied from a 16-3 deficit to beat the Giants 31-16. Green Bay and Tampa Bay are in overtime, tied at 14. Plunkett to this side. Van Egan out of bounds at the 20. Give him the 19. It will not be a first down. Short by about 3. Willie Buchanan, 28, to push him out of bounds.
One of the things that Jim Plunkett said he wanted to do this week was to settle down a little bit. Felt that he really had maybe forced things a little too much during his game last week against Kansas City. But obviously, if you don't have to fight back from a big deficit, you've got a little more time. You can afford to take the options. Plunkett doing a good job here in the early going of throwing the football and mixing his plays.
Well, Merlin, he's 4 out of 5, and he had one key scramble on the touchdown drive. And Gary Big Hands Johnson, an intruder in the Oakland backfield, was he invited in by a false movement?
Well, he started to move, but Upshaw lifted his hand. I think it'll go against the offense here. That defender, unless he touches the offender, is really kind of free to move around a bit. The offensive man must keep that hand on the ground.
It's against the Raiders.
63 on the offense.
Good call, Merlin. Dean Upshaw. Well, that's a tough assignment for those offensive linemen. And when you see a big guy like that charging at you, the natural first reaction is to protect yourself, and that means lifting your hand.
Especially a good tackle like Gary Johnson, who is extremely quick. He's had at least 1 sack in every game so far this year, a total of 8 sacks. And many have felt has been the most effective lineman for these San Diego Chargers during this season.
You saw Plunkett send out the man, perhaps bringing in a play suggestion, as Plunkett had 3rd and 3. Now he looks at 3rd and 8 from inside the San Diego 25. Both wide receivers to the right. Chandler with Branch in the slot. Casper left. Plunkett incomplete. Intended for Kenny King. Plunkett throwing off his wrong foot. King had a step on Woody Lowe, but the pass errant. And in comes Chris Barr for a shot at a long 3-pointer.
Plunkett really is going to it'll take some time for him to get back into the swing of playing. You don't lay out for 2 years and then step right in and have all of your timing. But again, he was under pressure, and that's difficult. He's fighting to get some room to throw and moving around pretty well. The Raiders are not used to having a mobile quarterback. They've been used to a guy that just stops back there, and that's it.
42-yard try. Bob Chandler to hold. It's up. It's long enough. It's good. Longest of the year for Chris Barr. His preceding high was 41. He hits one from 42. The Oakland Raiders have taken the lead 10-7 over the San Diego Chargers. And we're going to be switching in a moment back to New York. Brian Gumbel with a key update. Here in Oakland, it's 10-7 Raiders. Now let's go back to New York and Brian Gumbel.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. Pair of upsets in the AFC today at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Burt Jones and the Colts took the measure of the Bills. 17-12, first loss this season for the Bills. It was Jones to Ciani for the first score of the ball game. Point after was good. That made it 7-0. Second quarter, more of the same. Burt Jones throwing a poor pass here, but Roger Carr comes up with it. Kept the drive alive and wound up with a field goal. And then Jones to Carr once again, this time down to the 8-yard line. When they got a little closer, it was Don McCauley taking it in for the Colts' final score. That made it 17-6. The Bills closed within 17-12, but still came up a loser. At Three Rivers, Craig Colquitt was hurt, and that cost the Steelers their punter and their kick holder. That was to be costly. 10-0 Cincinnati when Kenny Anderson completed this one to Pete Johnson. That made it 17-0. The Steelers got on the board with a Russell Davis touchdown, but missed the point after. And then Bradshaw threw one to Jim Smith, corner of the end zone, 17-13. They closed to 17-16, but from 39 yards out with almost no time remaining, Matt Barr goes wide, and the Bengals upset the Steelers by 1. Back to Oakland, Dick Enberg.
All right, 2 great games, Brian, seen earlier here on NBC. 2 upsets. Buffalo loses its first, and Pittsburgh, a rare defeat at home against Cincinnati. The kick by Barr to Chuck Muncie to the 10. He's got some blockers, 25, 30, and the big running back, former All-American at the University of California, is out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Chris Barr got a piece of the tackle.
Muncie really coming to run on that play. Had slipped down both of the earlier kickoffs, but boy, he took that one up the field. Chris Barr gets a good kick. Boots it deep, watches it fly, drifts on down the field. Now he's kind of behind the pack, acting as a safety. He sees Muncie starting to break clean. He's breaking to the sideline for him, and it's a one-on-one confrontation between Chris Barr and Muncie. Ouch! That one hurt.
Great job of covering that play. How does Larry Cirillo know that Barr was going to make the play? Kellen Winslow at the 40. The big tight end at the 50. He's still on his feet to the 40 and all the way to the 38-yard line. What an athlete, 252 pounds, and he runs like a 180-pound halfback. He is tied with Mike Barber, NFL tight ends, with 23 catches coming in. That's his second.
Well, they asked Don Coryell what he liked most about number 80, Kellen Winslow, and he said when he gets the football in his hands, he makes something happen. And you see it right there, the excitement of a great athlete, making the yardage, moving the Chargers down the field.
12:25 left in this first half. Oakland 10, San Diego 7. First down at the 38. Fouts into the flat, incomplete to Muncy, and very close to a lateral. And you'll see the Raiders, just in case. Ted Hendricks never misses a trick. He's picked up a few of those and taken them for long runs. It was ruled a pass incomplete.
The Raiders running a lot of zone defense, and you'll see quite a few screen plays against that zone. Fouts likes to throw the screen against the zone defense. Chris Barr has to be happy. Against these Chargers in that overtime game, he was 1 for 6 in the field goal department. He's got to be pleased that he gets his first one over today, Dick.
And it gives Oakland the lead, 10-7. Cedric Hardman in. Oops, Williams ran into Fouts, taking the handoff. And look at Mike Davis. He streaked from cross field, and a flag goes down. He may have gotten a piece of the face bar at the 35. But Davis from Colorado, he was on the near side, sprinted at an angle to make that tackle after a short gain, but there may be a penalty attached to it.
Doug Wilkerson, number 63, had a chance to block Davis, but felt that Davis would not be able to catch him from the backside. Davis just flew through there. Fine defensive play.
Remember when San Francisco started the season at 3-0? Look what's happening today. The Cowboys at home demolishing
Personal
the 49ers.
foul, face mask, number 44. That's an automatic first down.
You heard the call against Pete, or check that against Burgess Owens, 44, assisting on the tackle, so a first down despite a good defensive play by Mike Davis. You saw the Rams score against St. Louis, 14-7, and the rest. First down play to Muncy, 25. Bowls his way inside the 20, and it appears to be another San Diego first down. So Muncy, who had a great season last year, rushed for nearly 1,200 yards and a 5-yard average, showing why the Chargers are so delighted to have him in a San Diego uniform.
And the defense hates to see a big back like Muncy coming around. You see right there the result of trying to tackle Muncy. That's 42. Monty Jackson went head-to-head with Muncy and came out the worst for it. He's still on the ground and hurt. Monty playing with a bad knee. But Muncy, a tremendous athlete, as we said, one of the most talented in the NFL, running right over the defense on that particular play.
233 pounds and 9.6 speed.
Internet.
Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen on a beautiful 60-degree day on the east side of the bay at the Oakland Coliseum. The Raiders lead the San Diego Chargers 10-7. We have 11 minutes left, first half. San Diego first down inside the 20 of Oakland. Out of that pass formation, Joyner in motion. Up the middle, Clarence Williams breaking tackles all the way to the 13-yard line. A gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5, San Diego. Final score in the National Football League. In overtime, no one could score in the 15-minute overtime period. And the Bays, Green 14 and Tampa 14. 59-7, the Cowboys beating San Francisco late in the fourth period. Not late enough for 49er fans. That was the first tie of the year, by the way, the Green Bay-Tampa Bay game. Second and 5, Muncy slipping out of 2 tackles. 15, 10. Oh, is he powerful. All the way to the 6. It's first and goal. Davis and Hayes and Owens, 3 defensive backs required to bring him down.
Dick, my memories of playing football a little bit dusty, but I still remember having to tackle Muncy a few times, and that's not a pleasant experience. He really runs hard and low. Might have hurt himself a little on that play as he's coming up the sideline, but as we said earlier, if he can live up to some of the potential that he has exhibited, he was a Pro Bowl, in fact the most valuable player in the Pro Bowl this last season. He really brings some valuable assets to this San Diego offense.
Trailing 10-7, first and goal at the 6. That's Jefferson in motion. Cappelletti stopped at the 5. Dave Browning, assisted by Burgess Owens, the former New York Jet, who came up from a safety spot to help out. It's second and goal at the 5.
Cappelletti running in the sodded area of the field, and that is really an area where the footing is treacherous at times. He looked as if he was going up into the line tentatively. He also is playing a little injured in this ball game, not able to get perhaps the kind of concentration and physical effort that he would like to have.
See if Fouts goes to the air. That's a big 5 yards. Nope, to Cappelletti again. Dragged down at the 2, and he might have had a touchdown except for the long arm of Ted Hendricks. As he was cutting back, he had room. Hendricks reaching as far as he could go, just got enough to pull him down.
Cappelletti using that good vision and that ability to cut back, but you're exactly right. Number 83, Hendricks, just reaches out, gets a hold of Cappelletti's arm, almost stripped the football away from him. Cappelletti, I think, concerned about losing the football, didn't try and tear away, just got what he could and went to the ground.
Well, that's why Hendricks was 3 times an All-American at Miami and 4 times an All-Pro. 3rd and goal, and Fouts has called time. And he's going to talk it over with his coaches on the sideline. So we have a timeout here in Oakland. 9:39 remaining in the first half. The Raiders lead the Chargers 10-7. A reminder, next Sunday on NBC Sports, NFL 80 continues. We invite you to join host Bryant Gumbel. Up to the minute look at all the news, scores, and highlights, plus a special feature, the marketing of the NFL logo, the designs of the various teams. That's all next Sunday. NFL 80. Check your local listings for the time in your area. Merlin and I will be down in the Orange Bowl to see the Bills trying to bounce back from their first loss of the year against Miami, trying to recover from a rather solid walloping by New England today. 3rd and goal at the 2-yard line for San Diego. They trail 10-7. Fouts sneaks it in. Dan Fouts with a touchdown.
They've got a handkerchief on the field, though, Dick. But what an interesting call by Fouts. Took everyone by surprise. The Oakland Raiders anticipating, as we had anticipated, that it would be a pass. Oh, my. Feeling your lines, Dick. They got a penalty on that one.
That's why I use that expression. There's nothing else to say. Why not try oh my? And I don't think that's what Don Coryell is thinking. But I wonder, remember he called, well, first we'll get the word.
Start right guard, number 67.
Ed White, former California All-American, starting too quickly. But remember, Fouts went to the sidelines to talk with his coach Coryell before this play. He may have said, hey, I think I can sneak it over. I bet he suggested it. Boy, it was a good call.
Great call. And the San Diego Chargers, so intelligent in the way they positioned their people. I think they knew what the defensive reaction was going to be. They knew the middle would be open. Fouts took advantage of it. Unfortunately, Ed White got a little early start there, and it cost them the touchdown.
Oops, and now a mix-up, and Fouts has to spend his second timeout. So the first penalty of the game against San Diego cost them 6 points, and now they're looking at 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. Fouts and Coryell will huddle, and we'll take this break with a score 10-7 Oakland. Back in Oakland, the San Diego Chargers, 3rd and goal at the Raiders 7. They've lost a touchdown, called back on illegal motion. Fouts trying to throw under pressure, incomplete. Clarence Williams covered well by Mike Davis, number 36, and Vinerska, and the field goal unit comes in for San Diego. Boy, that's a tough 5-yard penalty now.
Well, they're all tough down in there, and certainly anytime you lose a touchdown with a mistake like that, you really kick yourself up and down the field because those points are so tough to get anyway. Vinerska, very reliable kicker, but missed one that cost him that game last week. He'd like to get this one in and tie it up.
25 yards away, he does just that. Vinerska now is 9 for 12 this year. And this is following the script of our game in San Diego a month ago. 9.5 minutes remaining in the first half in Oakland, even at 10. John Gonzalez, our director, has set up this three-view shot. You have Vinerska kicking off in white, deep to return, and the other end for the Oakland Raiders. Well, that's not the return man, that's an up man, Ramsey. Deep is Matthews and Whittington. And he sails it down toward Matthews at the goal line. The 10, the 20, And out of bounds. Ira Matthews, who returned 104 yards against San Diego here last season for a touchdown. Pete Shaw, number 44, made the tackle. We saw Chris Barr bump out a man out of bounds on a kickoff of Panerska. With his operations and all, he just heads for the sidelines after he kicks it off. And that's by orders, right, Merlin?
That's right. Wayne Sevier, the special teams coach, has told him, you just kick the ball and get off the field. Puts them at a bit of a disadvantage. They're covering with just 10 people, but he's so valuable to them as an offensive weapon. They do not want to lose him.
First down at the 22 for Oakland. A 10-10 tie. 9 minutes left in the half. Plunkett dumps it in the flat. Van Egan. Oh, does he run into a stone wall at the 25-yard line? Preston and Horn, two linebackers shoulder to shoulder. Let's pause briefly. Station identification from Oakland. This is the NBC Television Network.
200 miles on a gallon of gas. Fight back 7:30 Monday on KNBC Los Angeles.
Second down and 7 for the Oakland Raiders. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen in Oakland. 8:49 left in the half. Kenny King scored on a 31-yard run for Oakland, a 5-yard run by Capoletti, and a field goal by Barr and by Panerska, 10 points aside. This is King, much like the play in which he scored a touchdown, but read very well by Ray Preston, 52, from the University of Syracuse, and he knocks him out of bounds after a 1-yard gain. It's going to be 3rd and 6. A reminder, this Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, games people play. You'll see the World Cannonball Championships. Our old buddy Soupy Sales and custard pie throwing. And the hottest thing on wheels, skateboard fever strike. That's Merlin Olsen's favorite. All this and more this Thursday, games people play. Be sure to watch. King, 31 yards on his first carry, 8 yards on his next 4. Whoops. Flag down, and so is Plunkett. He saw the pressure coming, and he ducked down at the 16-yard line. Now let's check the flag.
Fred Dean, number 71 at the right end, over the line. Didn't appear that any of the Oakland Raiders moved. If that's the case, it'll go 5 yards against the San Diego Chargers. Will set them very close to a first down, be third about 1 yard.
Dean, of course, requiring on his lightning quickness and trying to get that jump. He reminds me so much of your former teammate Deacon Jones, the way he gets off the ball.
Not as big as Deacon, but
offside, number 71.
he also happens to be working against a very large offensive tackle, Art Shell. And Shell, a very difficult man to get around. Dean has had some good games against Shell by using that quick upfield shot and then moving back inside once Shell dropped back. But he got himself in trouble on that one.
Another 5-yard penalty hurts Oakland, or hurts San Diego. Now it's 3rd and a long 1. King struggling, and he did not make it. Great defense by the Chargers. Gary Johnson, 79, and Glenn Edwards, 27, coming up from the secondary to help out. Other scores. The Rams have more than a touchdown lead at St. Louis in the 4th quarter, 21-13. Houston, undoubtedly inspired by the news that Pittsburgh has lost, and a chance for them to move into a tie for first, leading at Kansas City 10-0. John Jefferson wearing those goggles that we told you before, not to correct the vision, but since a scratch in the eye a couple years ago, he just feels comfortable with them as a protective device.
Ray Guy calling timeout. He was counting personnel out there. I think realized that he didn't have enough people on the field. And, boy, we've had some non-professional mix-ups on the field today. Not what you would expect at midseason from two teams who have been together for a while. I'm sure there'll be a little chewing going on in the film sessions on Monday and Tuesday.
That's right. 3 timeouts have been called, and those are precious timeouts, 2 by San Diego, 1 by Oakland, to make certain that a mistake is not in the offing.
Well, you get angry when those timeouts are wasted, but at the same time, better to waste the timeout than to have 10 people on the field and have a butt block.
As we look at this crowd, nearly 50,000. They were expecting 50,000, the biggest crowd of the year. Of course, they sold out here for years and years, but with the thoughts of moving down to Los Angeles, the fans are edgy, to say the least. And last week, again, following up for those of you who weren't with us on NFL 80, they actually cheered Dan Pastorini. Loud cheers. He had broken his leg, carried off on a stretcher. It angered this Oakland team. Pastorini has handled it rather well. I wonder what your reaction is to that, Merlin.
Now, fans who say they paid their $14, they can do what they want. Maybe that's true, but boy, you sure lose your players on the field when you treat them that way. I thought it was very shabby, and I think there are a lot of people in Oakland feel extremely bad about what happened last week, and this has been a very mannerly crowd today, Dick.
Guy slices one, and Fuller stays away from it. It'll be San Diego's ball at the 25-yard line. 44-yard punt by Guy. Even when he misses one, he gets 44 yards. We have a timeout, tied at 10. When you get a chance to examine the best at anything, it's nice to slow it down and see why they're so good. Here's Raymond Guy's kicking technique. Watch the extension. A great dancer. Look at that toe up over the top of his helmet as he delivers the ball. He didn't really hit that one well and still got 44 yards. San Diego's ball, a 10-10 tie, 7.5 minutes left. Fouts wants to go deep and then dumps it off to Muncy. Out of bounds at the 31-yard line. A gain of 6. Well, that's good vision by Fouts. He wanted to go long to Joyner. Joyner was well covered, so he just flipped it out to Muncy in the flat.
Fantastic discipline. Fouts long arm fake. Watch it right there. Wants to go deep. Couldn't get deep. Still had time. Swings back across and catches Muncy in the open. Great play, but that's the third option. A big fake, then the downfield shot. Saw it wasn't open. Still very cool. Came back to the open receiver.
2nd down and 4 for Fouts. From the 31, it's Capoletti, a first down as he charges all the way out to the 40-yard line. See you next Sunday. Start your day with NFL 80 and host Brian Gumbel. You have all the latest news, college scores from Saturday night, highlights, then exciting regional action. Merlin and I will be down the Orange Bowl to bring you the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins contest. And some of you also will see the Seattle Seahawks, one of the most exciting teams in the NFL, against the New York Jets. Then following football, the 1980 World Series, the Kansas City Royals, and either Philadelphia or Houston, right back here where it belongs, the World Series on NBC. Fouts again, over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Joyner. And Fouts more and more using that long arm fake to try to set up something. Well, that's got to be tough on the defensive backs.
Defensive backs, Dick, trained to go on that move. And very few quarterbacks in the NFL able to effectively use that long arm fake. Fouts has developed that as one of the many tools he uses to destroy the defensive back. Used it effectively there, but Randy McClanahan, number 57, who is playing, as you said, in place of Bob Nelson, right on top of the receiver Joyner, and the ball incomplete.
McClanahan with good size at 6'5". From the 40-yard line, 2nd and 10. Fouts again to the air. In a little trouble. Dumps it off to Jefferson. He's down at the 45, and there are a couple of flags down in the defensive secondary. You've got to figure somebody in a black shirt was holding.
Kellen Winslow said they're trying to undress me down here. I mean, they pulled on him so hard his pads popped out of his uniform on that one.
The evidence was obvious, and the yellow flags went flying.
Well, I don't blame him. On Matt Millen down there. There's Jefferson. Watch him. Maybe we'll see it. They both get into the same area. Number 56, Barnes, a good shove on Jefferson. Jefferson looks like he has room. Ball thrown, good reception there, but the penalties had gone down. Ted Hendricks, apparently the guy who, we'll let him talk about it.
Defense, holding, number 55. That's an automatic
Matt Millen
down.
With another penalty from Penn State. Millen at 6'2" and 260 with 4'9" speed. He was a defensive tackle for Joe Paterno and the Nittany Lions. They really like him here in Oakland. They feel he's going to be a great player. First down, San Diego, 10-10 tie, 6:46 left in the half. Chuck Muncy, brought down by McClanahan. Young man made a big play there to stop Muncy behind the line of scrimmage, the 43-yard line.
Excellent inside-out play by McClanahan. Muncy making that little dip fake to the inside. And a good back does that to set up his blockers on the outside. He can't afford to take too much time doing that, however, because if the inside pursuit is quick enough, they can catch him. That's exactly what happened there. They hit him for a loss.
And so Tom Flores, the Oakland coach, puts in his pass rushers. Fouts guns it complete at the 45 of Oakland. That's good enough, I believe, for a first down, but a penalty flag is also down on the play. Ron Smith, 84, made the catch. We'll see if the penalty calls it back. We'll give you that information in just a moment. 6 minutes left in the half. 10-10 in Oakland. Now let's go to New York and Brian Gumbel.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. At the Kingdome in Seattle, the Browns have upped their count against the Seahawks. Brian Sipe working, rolling right, has to reverse his field, and when he comes up, he will spot Keith Wright, number 89, downfield. Completion is made. Wright gives an okey-doke to escape and then picks up a great block from Ozzie Newsome. Coast in, it's Cleveland 13, Seattle 3. Let's go back to Oakland. Dick?
And again, Brian, you have to wonder whether or not that Pittsburgh loss has inspired everyone in that tough Central Division. A Cleveland victory would move them just one game out of first place, as Pittsburgh is now 4-2. Cleveland starting today at 2-3. The penalty was against San Diego, nullifying that long pass game. A 13-yard play erased, and now Fouts with a long yardage throw, and down he goes in the arms of number 90, Willie Jones of Florida State.
6 defensive backs on the field. Willie Jones gets around there for his second sack of the day. Number 90. They say here in Oakland he's about to explode as a defensive lineman. Very talented pass rusher. Quickly out to the outside or around Russ Washington. Watch Fouts now. You'll see the pressure from the outside. Jones just quickly around. That's an excellent defensive play, and obviously no chance. And our hero on that play, at least, number 90, Willie Jones.
Prophetic sign. Up the middle goes Clarence Williams to the 30, and that's all on third down and long. That's about all Coryell could call. By the way, you saw the visual that San Diego and Chicago tied for the lead in sacks with 21. The Raiders, with 2 today, now have 17. And the fans give the defense a hand. Rick Partridge in to punt for San Diego. His first punt was 35 yards. 10 men on the line of scrimmage, and a whistle.
Too much time. What do they have? Just to put that sack into perspective, those 2 sacks. San Diego had only been sacked 5 times coming into this game, an average of 1 a game. Already in the first half, 2 sacks for this Oakland defense.
Good
41 offense, false start. 41.
San Diego suddenly, after not having a penalty in the first quarter, really hurting themselves by mistakes. That's another 5 yards, so Partridge will have to kick from around his own 10-yard line as Willie Jones celebrates with his defense on the near sidelines. Ira Matthews will return the punt. He's at the 35 of Oakland. 10-10 tie. Less than 5 minutes left in this first half. They're going to put pressure on Partridge. Gets it away. Not a very good kick. Matthews at the 45 to 50. And dances to the 46-yard line of San Diego. So the pressure on Partridge, a short kick and good return. Kellen Winslow with another tackle for San Diego. Only a 33-yard punt and 11-yard return for Ira Matthews. Well, this is an exciting time for all you sports fans. We've got the middle of the college and professional football season plus the World Series. And next Sunday, you'll have your choice of those 2 games here on NBC, 12:30 Eastern Time. Seahawks against the Jets in New York and Buffalo at Miami, followed by Game 5, if necessary, of the 1980 World Series. Kansas City against either the Phils or the Astros. First down, Van Egan to the 42-yard line, a gain of about 4. Second down and 6 for Van Egan from Colgate. We talked with him yesterday, and Van Egan is doing something that I'd like to proclaim for all, a suggestion for all. He's giving back to his university. Over a 5-year plan, donating monies. There'll be enough so that it'll be able to perpetuate itself. In 2 more years, there'll be a $5,000 scholarship in his name to a Colgate athlete. And a nice mark of a man saying thank you to his university. Second down and 6. Plunkett, good protection. Going long, and Branch is open. Plunkett well protected, and he threw a perfect strike.
When I talked to Jim Plunkett yesterday, Dick, he said, I may not go as often to the deep pass, but I'd like to try and set it up with the underneath passing and then go for the deep bomb. He certainly does it here. Throws it on target, Branch simply outrunning the defense. Glenn Edwards, number 27, the man beaten there. And Cliff Branch has beaten some of the best of them as he walks into the end zone for that 6 points. They'll go for the 7th.
Here's a try for point. Babar out of Chandler's hold. Ooh, he knuckles that one in there. It's now 17-10 Oakland. It took them only 41 seconds. 2 plays, 46 yards with Plunkett to Branch, 43 yards and the score. The little Cliff Branch out of the University of Colorado's 53rd touchdown catch in his career with Oakland gives the Raiders the lead. Long kick by Barr to Muncie, and he'll sit on it, take it out to the 20-yard line. A significant score for Branch. His 53rd touchdown. It gives him 318 points, and he moves ahead of Pete Banaszak, you know, the touchdown maker, short yardage, all time on the Oakland list. He's now number 4 all time, and he's just a touchdown away from tying Clem Daniels, the number 3 scorer all time for the Raiders. A couple of great names in the black and silver past.
Score by quarters. You'll notice that the Raiders haven't had a very productive second quarter, but they've been doing it today. Put 10 points on the board today.
Almost matching their total of the first 5 games. Fouts is a little short on his toss to Joyner. He had Williams running the short flat and then Joyner deeper. Jeff Barnes 56 on the coverage. Fouts now is hitting 50%, 8 out of 16, 153 yards, 1 intercepted.
The other thing that the Raiders have done is to limit the production for San Diego. Maybe we can get that same graphic for San Diego score by quarters, because theirs is a totally different picture.
And we're working on it. There it is.
There it is. 76 points. They've scored in 5 games in the second quarter. They've been limited to 3 in the second quarter here.
Just the reverse of the pattern as Fouts on 2nd and 10 hits Winslow, and he's out to the 33-yard line, and that should be good enough for the first down. Otis McKinney, 23, made the tackle for the Oakland Raiders, an extra defensive back. Well, that Winslow is a target and a half.
Interesting to me, though, Dick, 13 yards on that particular play. Interesting to me that this team still, even though they now have Muncie, who's been able to run, they still want to throw that football. They really do mirror their coach, Don Coryell, and his almost fanatic zeal for the passing game.
Well, he grew up in the college ranks throwing the ball. He says the one way you can beat a team that's better than you are. And now in the NFL with the Cardinals and the Chargers, he likes to put it up, and here goes Fouts again. In trouble. Down at the 29. Dave Browning logs the 3rd sack. Matuszak right there to help out.
Big Russ Washington still on the ground, number 70, and he's not moving. Doctors and trainers out on the field for the Chargers.
Washington, the giant tackle, 6'7" and 284. Played around 330 last year. Married a young lady from the island of Truk in the South Pacific, and eating that good Polynesian food and exercising in the islands. Lost a lot of weight, playing great ball in his 13th year out of Missouri. Number 1 pick by the Chargers. Back in '68, 5 times a Pro Bowler. Obviously, with those credentials, a considerable concern the Chargers as to his welfare.
He's working against one of the biggest defensive ends in all of football, 72, John Matuszak, who would just like to take you back and use the back of your head to block those passes. I'm sure that he rolled up Russ Washington pretty well.
Chuck Lavin, a rookie from South Dakota State, 64. World Series coverage, Joe and Tony, Tom Seaver. Oh, going to be a dandy, and we hope you'll just make that a regular habit to watch us here on NBC. So I guess Earl Harmon, Ron Luciano, they're going to be used in some unique ways. Be interesting to see Luciano. Wouldn't you like to have heard Luciano in that game yesterday between Philadelphia and Houston, giving his impressions of all of those interesting calls?
I can't imagine a game with more challenges to an official, to a referee. It was exciting to me, though, to watch the fact that it was handled right on the field. They didn't mess around with it. They went right after it.
Well, the picture says it all. Not much more to say about Russ Washington, other than we certainly hope that is not as serious as it at first appears. You know, while we have a moment here, we look at this stadium. Gene Klein, the owner of the San Diego Chargers, has announced that he would like to see the San Diego Stadium renamed in honor of the former sports editor of the San Diego Union, one of the true gentlemen and sports reporting. Jack Murphy, who passed away this past week. He was such a friend of sports in San Diego in so many different ways, as well as being an outstanding reporter. Jack Murphy Stadium. It has a nice ring. It's just a shame that we wait till someone passes away before we honor someone so deserving. On 2nd and 13, there's the veteran Joyner open again out at the 44-yard line, and he has a San Diego first down. Joyner's been hot. 15 yards on that reception, and he has 4 catches today.
I don't think any team in football throws more offense at you than the San Diego Chargers. That time they had 2 men in the slot on the right-hand side. Joyner, one of those people, slipped to the outside, and had it not been for a shoestring tackle by number 37, Lester Hayes would have had even more yardage on the play.
Ticking down toward the 2-minute warning. 17-10, Oakland leads. Reverse, and now the flea flicker. Fouts is looking for Joyner. No, he goes the other way, and it's caught by Winslow. Or is it Williams over there at the 30-yard line? A flag is down. There was a bump that could have gone almost either way.
I think it might be on the offensive player. It looked like Williams might have bumped the defender there, but he's shaking his head like he's happy about it, so maybe they've called it on the defense. Coryell not angry on the sideline. I think they may have decided to penalize the defense on that play.
How do you know he's not angry? He always looks angry.
I think he stops up and down. Now we know for sure, because you see on the other sideline a coach who is angry, Tom Flores.
Number 36, decline of penalty.
They're calling it against Davis. Perhaps we can see that again. Flores doesn't believe the call. It was one of those tough ones. They both seem to be running into each other. It's tough to see who was the guilty.
Bumping taking place, as we said, between the back. Now watch the play. Develops as a reverse and then a flea flicker. A little toss back to Fouts. Fouts wanted to go deep to Joyner, number 18. Went short.
Can't see it.
Can't see it. Unfortunately, the official right on top of it, though.
Batted down as Dave Browning leaps high to deflect that pass intended for Clarence Williams here in the near flat. Browning, former All-American at the University of Washington. I know his team looking, alma mater looking toward a possible Rose Bowl bid. That is the 2-minute timeout. And remember, the Chargers have only one of their own remaining. 2 minutes left, 17-10, Oakland. The preceding announcements were furnished by the National Football League. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, the Oakland Coliseum. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. The Raiders scored first on a 31-yard run by Kenny King to make it 7-0. John Cappelletti tied it, capping an 82-yard drive with a 5-yard run to tie it at 7. Ended the first quarter. 42-yard field goal by Barr gave the Raiders a 10-7 lead. Benerska's 25-yard field goal tied it, and a 43-yard bomb, Plunkett to Branch, has given Oakland a 17-10 lead. 2 minutes left in the half. First down from the 30. Fouts. Down he goes. John Matuzak. The Raiders in this first half have logged 4 sacks. San Diego, as Merlin pointed out earlier, has only allowed 5 all season in 5 games.
Let's go down into the line of scrimmage and see what happened on that play. Chuck Laban, number 64. They just inserted him, as we said, for the injured Russ Washington. The Oakland Raiders run a stunt. Willie Jones lines up inside. He ties up 2 of the defensive linemen right there, and the tackle slips to the inside, got away for the sack.
Fouts complete to Winslow, and look at him carry Otis McKinney. Normal men would have gone down with a tackle. Winslow made a couple of more yards. It's 3rd down and 5 for the Chargers. Because they used 2 of their timeouts, they have to hurry. And here comes a field goal unit on, but we have 1:17 left. Oh, it is 4th and 5. It is 4th and 5, so Benerska and the Chargers will go for the 3. We want to make one correction. It was not Laban who came in, but Dan Audick, number 60, who is playing in the line now. We don't want Laban might get after us next time we see him.
He might indeed. Sorry about that. That's Audick. They call him the unguided missile. And at times he bangs his own people around pretty good. But that's really a tough situation for him. Willie Jones, who'd had a couple of sacks earlier, lined up inside. Forced hard, got a hold of both of those offensive linemen, made room for that defensive tackle to come inside, and he was on Fouts before Fouts even had a chance.
This will be a 43-yard attempt by Benerska, well within his range. In fact, he has set a record earlier this year and then broke his own record. In fact, it was against the Raiders that he kicked a 52-yard field goal of San Diego record, and then the next week at Denver hit one from 53. This one 43 yards if with Fuller to hold. Hooking, no good. Inertia misses from 43, and the Raiders with 1 minute and 13 seconds left and 2 timeouts will get the ball at the line of scrimmage. The 25-yard line.
Difficult, Dick, when you go head-to-head with a team twice during a season, as these two teams do, and they have a history of very physical combat back and forth. Often the emotion of those 2 games switching. Last year down in San Diego, Oakland not able to do much. Came back up here and totally dominated the Chargers. Of course, we said in the earlier game, Oakland probably should have won. They're going to get their shots in today if they possibly can.
They lead 17-10, and Plunkett has had a good first half. Here's Kenny King. And what a play by Mike Williams, number 29. Williams was the only white shirt over there. He played it well, did not anticipate too quickly, make his move too quickly, and corralled King for a loss of 3. And it appears the Raiders not any too eager to get it going. They got a 17-10 lead. Apparently are not going to take any chances with the ball in their own end.
Well, I think they may just sit on that. They've got to be very pleased with the way they have been able to handle the Chargers in this first half.
34 seconds left. And a gain of a yard for Van Eek.